Trump pushes forward with sale of F-16V warplanes despite China complaints. After numerous delays, the Trump administration is again moving ahead with the sale of 66 F-16V fighter jets to Taiwan, despite renewed trade talks with Beijing over the US-China trade war. Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense applied to buy 66 F-16V Viper fighter jets at the recommendation of the U.S. government on February 27. There had been reports in Taiwan that Trump had put the deal hold for fear of upsetting Beijing during the contentious US-China trade talks. However, two officials told Foreign Policy (FP) that the deal had actually been delayed due to longer than expected negotiations over price and configuration of aircraft. Officials told FP that the goal is to move to the next stage of the proposed sale during Congress's recess in August. The arms sale has not yet reached completion, and the request for the purchase must be agreed upon by both the U.S. Department of Defense and the U.S. State Department before being formally submitted to Congress. The U.S. Congress will then have 30 days to comment on the arms sale proposal. The proposed sale of the upgraded fighter jets to Taiwan has already raised hackles in Beijing. Zhang Shuang, a spokesman for China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, said in March that China's resolute opposition to U.S. arms sales to Taiwan is consistent and firm, and the country has lodged solemn representations with the United States over the issue. Zhang then urged the U.S. to fully recognize the high sensitivity and severe harm of the relevant issue and abide by the One China principle and the three Sino-U.S. joint communiques, especially the August 17 communique. He then called on the U.S. to completely stop arms sales and military contact with Taiwan, and prudently handle Taiwan-related issues to avoid severely damaging the Sino-U.S. cooperation in important spheres as well as the peace and stability of the Taiwan Strait. The report points out that U.S.-China relations are in a delicate phase, and if the arms sale does progress, Beijing is bound to protest. When Trump met with Chinese President Xi Jinping at the G20 summit in Osaka, Japan, over the weekend, he resumed U.S.-China trade talks and relaxed restrictions on sales by U.S. companies to Huawei. However, the report asserted that the easing of tensions between the U.S. and China may only be temporary. The U.S. is still worried about China's economic structure, the theft of American technology, and continuing military base construction in the South China Sea. According to the report, the Trump administration has recently become concerned that China may invade Taiwan sooner than expected. In January, Xi warned that we would not rule out the use of force against separatists and Taiwan independence activities. When questioned by FP for comment on the sale of F-16 versus to Taiwan, the State Department officials said that they could not comment on nor confirm any defense sales until they are formally notified by Congress. If finally approved, the sale would be the first time Taiwan has bought F-16s from the U.S. since 1992. The biggest advantage of the new F-16 versus is the new APG-83 AESA radar, which can search, track, and lock onto multiple targets, CNA reports. The jets also include upgraded mission computers and cockpit dashboards, new helmet-mounted displays, and come equipped with the latest AIM-9X Sidewinder missiles. Trump's sale of F-16 fighters to Taiwan seen making China nervous politically. The U.S. may finally sell Taiwan the warplanes it has sought for more than a decade to defend against China. Their arrival would deal more of a political shock than a military blow to Beijing. Trump administration officials have given tacit approval to Taipei's request to buy more than 60 Lockheed Martin Corp. F-16s, according to people familiar with the matter, setting the stage for the first such deal since 1992. While a few dozen fighter jets would hardly tip the military balance against the increasing powerful Chinese military, it would signal a new American willingness to back the democratically run island. For Beijing, it would be a huge shock, said Wu Shangsu, a research fellow at the S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies in Singapore. But it would be more of a political shock than a military shock. It would be, oh, the US doesn't care how we feel, it would be more of a symbolic or emotional issue. The potential sale is among several gestures of US support for Taiwan in recent months, even as President Donald Trump and Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping near a deal to end the costly trade war. The U.S. also sailed a warship through the Taiwan Strait and accommodated President Tsai Ing-wen's stopover in Hawaii last week, drawing protests from China, which denounced the moves as extremely dangerous. Renewed U.S. interest in Taiwan follows growing calls in Washington for a whole-of-government effort to prevent China from surpassing American military and industrial dominance. Perhaps nowhere has the power shift been felt more than on Taiwan, an island of 23.6 million people that China aims to eventually control despite 70 years of divided rule. China has directed its industrial strength toward huge investments in military hardware over the past 2 decades, building a world-class navy and filling its coastline with missiles capable of hitting Taiwanese targets. The country spent 23 times more than Taiwan on defense in 2017, up from double in 1997. New F-16s won't change the fundamental balance of capabilities across the strait, nor will it eliminate the threat that China poses to forcibly absorb a democratic Taiwan, said Scott Harold, an associate director of RAND Corp's Center for Asia-Pacific Policy. Taiwan will continue to need to invest in missiles, electronic warfare, mines and other advanced conventional and asymmetric capabilities designed to deter, and if necessary defeat, any Chinese effort to use coercion to compel unification. RAND analysts argued in a 2016 report that China's sophisticated short-range ballistic missiles could cut every runway at Taiwan's half-dozen main fighter bases and destroy essentially all parked aircraft in a conflict. Any planes that made it in the air could face Chinese pilots flying jets such as the J-20, a fifth-generation, stealth fighter considered to be a rival to Lockheed's advanced F-22s and F-35s. Still, the F-16 sale would represent a shift by the U.S., which is obligated to sell arms of a defensive character to Taipei under the 1979 Taiwan Relations Act. Presidents since Bill Clinton have repeatedly rebuffed Taiwan's requests for new fighter jets and other advanced weapons systems that could provoke Beijing, with Barack Obama agreeing in 2011 to merely upgrade its aging F-16 fleet. Tsai said during her visit to Hawaii on Wednesday that a fighter jet deal would greatly enhance our land and air capabilities, strengthen military morale and show to the world the U.S.'s commitment to Taiwan's defense. The F-16 versions requested by Taiwan are promoted as the world's most advanced fourth-generation jet, including the latest radar and avionics, even though the original F-16 model has been in service for more than 40 years. The aircraft would help the island respond day-to-day incidents such as airspace incursions that fall short of open war and mop up data during routine patrols. China, which suspended military exchanges with the U.S. in response to previous sales, protested the F-16 move. The Foreign Ministry said the country lodged stern representations with U.S. while the Defense Ministry warned against moves that undercut the contention that the mainland and Taiwan are part of one China. The sale could be calibrated to test China's bottom line without breaching it. Xi, the Chinese president, would have to decide whether to risk his trade pact with Trump or even an open conflict between two of the world's most powerful militaries to prevent the sale of a few dozen jets.